Okay, let's talk about one of the most beloved dog breeds on the entire planet, the Golden Retriever. You know them, you love them. That friendly smile, that happy-go-lucky personality, it's made them a favorite in homes for literally decades. I mean, think about it. For more than 30 years straight, they've been right at the top of the popularity charts in the United States. That's an incredible winning streak. But behind that widespread fame is a story that's a lot more complex than you might think. Because here's a question for you. When you close your eyes and picture that perfect, fluffy, smiling golden retriever, which one are you actually seeing?
Yeah, it's a question that might just surprise you.
So let's dive right into that complexity. Because the truth is, there isn't just one single type of golden retriever that everyone agrees on. See, the breed is pretty much split into two main variations that most people don't even know exist: the American Golden Retriever and the English Golden Retriever. Now, they are absolutely the same breed, but their paths went in different directions a long, long time ago, and that's led to some really distinct differences. So let's break down exactly what those differences are, starting with the stuff you can see with your own eyes. Let's put them side by side. The physical differences are pretty clear when you look at them like this. The most obvious thing, of course, is the color. You've got that familiar, shiny, rich gold of the American type versus the much lighter, almost cream color of the English. But it's more than that. The American Goldens tend to be a little taller with a thicker, longer coat, while the English are often a bit stockier with wavier fur. But, the differences aren't just skin deep. Their personalities have some subtle variations too. American Goldens are known for having a ton of energy, especially in those first few years. They're just bundles of excitement. English Goldens, on the other hand, are often described as being a bit calmer and maybe maturing a little faster, which some people say makes them just a tad easier to train. And this brings us to a really crucial point, especially for anyone thinking about getting one: their health. And yeah, there's a noticeable difference here too. On average, English Goldens tend to live a little bit longer, around 12 years compared to 10 or 11 for American Goldens. And the reason for that might be tied to one really startling statistic. Wow, take a look at this. Studies have shown a lifetime cancer risk of around 60% in American Golden Retrievers. For the English Goldens, though, that number is way lower, around 38%. That is a massive, massive difference, and it's a huge factor in why their lifespans can be so different. So, the big question is, why? How in the world did one breed, from the same starting point, split into two separate lines with such different looks, personalities, and even health outcomes? Well, the answer is all in the history books. It has to do with the different organizations that set the rules, the breed standards, on opposite sides of the Atlantic Ocean. Just look at this timeline. So, the British Kennel Club recognized the Golden Retriever way back in 1911. The American Kennel Club, the AKC, didn't officially recognize them until 1925. But the real split, the real divergence, began when these national clubs started writing their own separate rulebooks for what a Golden Retriever should look like. A huge moment came in 1938 with the creation of the Golden Retriever Club of America. They established a specific standard for the ideal American Golden. So you had American breeders breeding to the AKC standards and English breeders breeding to the British Kennel Club standards. And you do that for generations and you end up with two pretty different dogs. And there was a real pushback then to define that American type. Just listen to this quote from 1938. E.F. Ravinus Jr. was frustrated with dog show judges who kept picking dogs that looked too much like setters. He said it was a type of dog which has no right to win. You can feel that desire to create a unique, distinct American look, and that really shaped the standard we have today. But the story of the Golden Retriever gets even more interesting and a little mysterious the further back you go. We're going right to the very beginning. A story that's filled with myths, some corrected facts, and a few lingering questions. For many, many years, the most popular story was a pretty romantic one. People believed that the entire breed came from a troupe of Russian circus dogs that an English lord bought from a traveling show. It's an awesome story, right? But it's not true. The official story, which was confirmed when someone found Lord Tweedmouth's actual breeding records in the 1950s, is that he started the line in Scotland in the 1860s. He bred a yellow retriever named Nose to a Tweed water spaniel named Belle, and pretty much all Goldens today are said to come from that one single pairing. So, case closed, right? Well, maybe not. What if the breed, or at least something that looked an awful lot like it, was around even before Lord Tweedmouth and his famous dogs? This is what's so fascinating. People have discovered historical artwork. A painting from 1839, a print from 1854, both of which were made before the dog news was even born. And they clearly show dogs that look almost identical to modern golden retrievers. It kind of throws a wrench in the official story, suggesting that a golden-colored retriever-type dog was already out there. And that whole journey, from Britain to America, is perfectly captured by dogs like this one. This is Speedwell Pluto. He was one of the early dogs imported from England, and he went on to become America's very first golden champion. He's like a living link, a dog from those original British lines who helped create the foundation for the new American type. So, after all that, different paths, different colors, different standards, even a debated origin, what is it that actually unites them? What truly makes a golden a golden? At the end of the day, it's all about their spirit. It doesn't matter if it's an American Golden or an English Golden, their core is the same. They're incredibly smart and famously easy to train. They have that gentle, friendly soul that makes them such amazing family companions. And they are loyal, full of energy, and just desperate to please, with a love for water that goes right back to their earliest days as retrievers. You know, maybe S.S. McGoffin, the founder of the American Club, said it best all the way back in 1938. He said, "We have a grand hunting dog and the best companion imaginable for all the family for the balance of the year." Whether they're American or English, from a circus or from Scotland, that's what they are. A capable, hardworking dog and a loving family member. That is the real, unchanging story of the Golden Retriever.